Hey guys, Johnny Soder here, back again doing another movie review, and today we'll be reviewing Captain America: The First Avenger. Now, Captain America: The First Avenger is directed by Joe Johnston and features Chris Evans, Haley Atwell, Hugo Weaving, Tommy Lee Jones, Sebastian Stan, Dominic Cooper, Toby Jones, Stanley Tucci, and Neil McDonough. So, the plot of Captain America: The First Avenger is that we follow with this young man named Steve Rogers, and Steve Rogers, he was this like really short and really skinny person, a little bit like me, kinda. He was really short and really skinny, and like, but he didn't care that he was all of that. He was still willing to stand up for himself. Like whenever he would get in fights in the alleys, he was still willing to stand up for himself and still fight them and not run away at all. And he just says, "I could do this all day" and all of that. Like he's still willing to stand up for himself and show that he's still strong, even though he's short and skinny. So yeah, and then what another thing he wants to do is that he wants to go join the military. He wants to go join the army, and he wants to fight for his country, because this movie takes place during the time of World War II in the year 1944 to 45. Yeah. So from there, he wants to join the army so he could fight the Nazis and fight Hitler and all of them in World War II and all of that. So yeah, and he has a really big heart and wanting to do that. Like he wants to do that, but like people keep like his friend Bucky keeps saying like, well, you're too short and all of that. You can't do that. You can barely even lift a stick and all of that, and saying all this other stuff. So yeah, I don't think he says that, but he says something like that. But yeah, but like he still wants to join the military, and he even like goes up one of the military stands, like like when there's like a military dude in a picture, you have to like cover his face. Like he does that, but he can't even cover his face. Like he only covers his eyes. Yeah, that's how short and skinny he is. But like he's still willing to go and join the army. Like he's doing everything so he could try to join the army. And then this one dude named, excuse me. Okay, his name is Dr. Erskine. I think he's a general, I think. Yeah, he's a general, and, like, he sees how much of a huge heart that Steve Rogers has. Like, he has a really big heart and wanting to join the military. And so, he just puts him in the military. Like, he does it. And while he's there, he sees, like, how much of a really big heart that Steve has. Like, he has a really big heart. Like, he's still willing to do stuff. Like, he's still willing to do hard stuff even though he's short and skinny. And, like, yeah, he's still willing to do this stuff. And, like, what else is there? So yeah, he's still willing to do stuff, and there's even this one scene where like you have to climb the top of the flagpole, and like the general was just like no one has ever like gotten that flag for over like 20 years or something like that. And then once that happens, people are trying to climb it, but they can't. And like they're just like, okay, we're done. We're going now. And then like Steve he unplugs the stamp. He unplugs the like he unplugs the pole, and then like from there he just walks and then he gets the flag. And then yeah, and that scene was just really cool. And then there's also this other really strong scene where where the general throws like a fake grenade, and like not Erskine, but this other dude, played by Tommy Lee Jones. He throws a big grenade, and then no one, like Steve didn't know it was fake, but everyone else knows it's fake. He didn't know it was fake, and then he takes like he falls on the grenade, and he's just like he puts it all over him, and he's like, "Get away, get back!" Like that's showing that he was willing to sacrifice himself for all those people. Like he's such a hero, he was willing to sacrifice himself too. But then he just looks around, and everyone's just like, okay, what the fuck did he just do? Yeah, and then he from there he just like sees like, oh, it was just a test. Excuse me. Okay, before I go any further, I just want to tell you guys, I will be wearing this shirt for all the Captain America movies I review. Okay, and I'll also review Endgame with this shirt, not the. For all the Avengers movies, I was planning on wearing my Marvel shirt, but I'll wear that for the first three movies. And when I wear Endgame, I'll wear this because I wore this the night of Endgame. So yeah, but we're not like talking about those movies. So we'll get back to what I was saying. So so like once that happens, like at first the General Phillips, I think that was his name, played by Tommy Lee Jones. General Phillips, he just like what does he do? Yeah, General Phillips he just like doubts him. Like he's talking to General Erskine. He's just like he can't even do this and all of that. But then like once he sees that, he's just like, wow. And so yeah, and And then from there, like after he's willing to do that, General Erskine talks to Steve Rogers like while before he goes to sleep, and like Steve like tells him like this whole big thing like how good he is and all of that, and like yeah he just tells him this whole big thing of like how good he is and all of that, and like he show like once he's talking to him he shows him how much of a huge heart he has, and General Erskine sees that he has such a huge heart and he really cares for people, like he really sees how much of a huge heart he has. And then from there, what else is there? And then from there, while all this is happening, while 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 all the things were happening, when all the people were seeing how good he was, you also see that Steve is also getting attracted to one of the generals. She was a girl. Her name's Peggy Carter. Yeah, her name's Peggy Carter, and he's always attracting to her. And like and Peggy Carter is like really tough. She's a really tough general. So yeah, and he just is really attracted to her. And then from there, from there, like, the next day, he gives him that speech. General Erskine, like, takes, Steve to the city. He takes Steve to the city to, like, get experimented on. And, like, on their way there, Steve, like, tells, like, Peggy, like, he would never run away, because, like, he was just, like, it's better to, like, stand up for yourself than to run away, because then that shows that they won't be going on you, like, so many times and all of that. So, yeah, and that shows that that was really cool. And then from there, Peggy Steve like starts getting at Peggy in that scene. Like he starts getting at her, but he's not really good at it though. Like he's been getting at her, but he keeps stuttering and he keeps stuttering and like hesitating and like saying some weird shit and all of that. And then Peggy's just like, Peggy's just like, you never have had the chance to speak with a girl, have you? You've never done anything like this before, have you? And he's just like, well, yeah, but like I've always just been like always shy, and I've always been like, this is what Steve is saying. He's just like, I've always been shy, and I've always like just wanted to like wait for like the right one. Like I don't just want a random girl. I want the right one in all of this. So yeah, and then from there, like that's what really shows that he's just really really caring. So yeah, and then from there, once they go somewhere, they go to like this what looks like an antique shop, but behind it there's like this lab in it, like there's this like huge lab in it, and then from there like they're doing like this body work or something like that, for like experimenting on like people's like their height and all of that, and so Steve becomes their first human trial. Actually, he becomes their very first human trial, and then he just goes in the machine, and then he's just like he takes his shirt off and his hat, like he goes in the machine, and then from there like he just goes in there and he's just like I can take the pain and all of that, and like but like they tell him like it's kind of gonna hurt and all of that. So yeah, and then from there like they do the experiment on him, and like while they're doing that experiment, like so many light is going in there, and then he's just screaming, but then they're like, no, turn it off, and he's like, no, I can do this, keep it going, turn the power up, like Steve's saying that while he's inside. And then from there, once it's done, it opens up, and Steve is so fucking big. Like he's turned out really big and just really really strong. Like he was really strong when he got out. He already had a six-pack. He had some huge muscles and all this stuff. So yeah, and he just grew really really tall. But not like enormously tall, but like average height, like 6 feet, like 6 foot something, or any of that. So yeah, he just ends up a lot more different than how he originally looked. And from there, they're just like, how do you feel, Steve? He's just like, I feel taller. And then from there, there's this other dude, stole one of the things that they used, and like he stole it, and then he runs away, and then Steve just like, and then Steve just does it, like it's the first man he's gonna like fight and all of that. But like while he's doing it, he's just seeing how fast he's running. He's just like, I can't believe I'm running this fast, but he keeps going forward, like he keeps running, and then you see how strong he is, like how strong that thing made him, and like how like he's getting used to it and all of that, but like he's barely getting used to it, like he does not get fully used to it, but like while he's running, like he even he even crashes into one of the stores, like he crashes into one of the glass, in the stores they have like a glass thing showing you what's in there. He crashes into there, and then from there he just gets up quickly, and then he's just running. And then from there, he captures the dude, and then the dude like kills himself with like one of those like pills that kill you, that like make bubbles come out of you. Yeah, and then from there, like from there, that's what's making Steve like try to go to the army. Like that's what's making him like go like, okay, I can do this. I can go to the army now. I'm strong now. But from there, the people still don't believe him and all of that. Like people still don't believe him. Like they're just like, okay, but we'll do something first. Like before you join the army, we just need to do something. And they make him like this like big like pop star and famous person known as Captain America. Now all that Captain America does originally is just do plays, like do just really cool plays, and like him with girls and all of that, and him lifting up a motorcycle and all of that. So yeah, and then from there, that's what makes him like do the military stuff and all of that. So yeah, and then their main job to do, like the main job for the military to do, is like there's this man named I forgot his name, but like he's the Red Skull. Like he is the Red Skull. What the Red Skull's plan is that he has like this cube called the Tesseract, and he never holds it in his hand. He just holds it in like a machine. Like yeah, he just holds the Tesseract, and he thinks the Tesseract is a god and all of that, cause like the Red Skull, like he would work for Hitler. Like he used to be a Nazi, and like Hitler would always tell them like fantasies about gods and all of that, and like these like things that'll make you really strong and make you a god and all of that. And Hitler just told them the stories just to like keep them entertained and all of that. But Red Skull like took him to the next level. Like he thought they were real and all of that, and they were actually really real. Like he got the Tesseract, and from there he thinks that he's powerful and all that. He thinks he's a god, and from there like he sees the Tesseract's full. No, not its full power. He sees some of the Tesseract's power, like some of its power, but not all its power though. But like he's been making weapons with the Tesseract. He's been making guns that like as soon as they shoot people, they just vanish and die. So yeah, and that's basically what the Tesseract is doing. And like what he wants to do is like he wants to make these atomic bombs. Like, and he also wants to make these bombs that like they're controlled when people like move around in them. Like they're like ships. Like the atomic bombs are ships in them, but like people control it, and then like they just fall. And he wants to destroy most of the world with those atomic bombs. Yeah, he just wants to destroy like most of the world with that, and he really wants World War II to be really high, and he really wants to kill people. So yeah, and Captain America and all the military are trying to stop him. So yeah, and that's basically the whole plot of Captain America's First Avenger. Now, do I like Captain America the First Avenger? Yeah, I love Captain America the First Avenger. This one's really cool, actually. This one's really entertaining. This was a really cool start off to Captain America. Like, it was a really, really cool start off to Captain America. Like, literally, this was a really cool start off to Captain America. Like, literally, this was like the easy start of a trilogy, actually. So yeah, it was just a really cool start to a trilogy. Not as cool as A New Hope or none Batman Begins or none of that, but it's still a really cool start to a trilogy. Yeah, it was a really cool origin for Captain America. So yeah. And yeah, just in this movie was just really cool. It had a lot of action in it. It was really emotional too. Like there was a lot of surprising emotion in here. So yeah, and it was just really cool. And just Captain America was just fucking awesome in this movie. So yeah. And like this movie definitely connects a lot with the past movies too. Like a lot, especially because like Howard Stark's in this movie, but he's really young. Like he's like in his early 30s or something like that. So yeah. And then from there, yeah, just this movie like has like you can just really tell like they as a military wants to like stop this war and all of that. So yeah, and let's get to the characters now. The characters are really cool in this movie. I actually really like all the characters in this movie. My favorite character is the main character, Steve Rogers. I love Steve Rogers in this movie. This was a perfect start for Steve Rogers. I love Steve Rogers in this movie. He is very, very relatable to me, especially because he was short and skinny compared to all the people his age and all of that. And that's basically me, short and skinny. So yeah, and he was just really relatable to me. And Steve, I really love how Steve has such a huge heart. Like he has a really, really big heart. He really cares for people. He wants to fight the war. He really cares for the society. He really cares for the United States. He really cares for all of that. So yeah, and you can just really tell he cares for himself too. Like he really cares for himself, and that was really strong. Like he was just a really, really strong character. Just he cares for himself a lot, not just people, but himself too. Like he always stands up for himself. Like he's always fighting back no matter how hard he gets beat up. So yeah, and I really love that a lot about him, and I just really love how he just really respects the military. Like the scene before he gets beat up, like they're just watching like a military commercial, and then like there's this dude in the movies. He's just like, just play just play the freaking movie already. Just play the damn movie already. We don't care about this shit. And then he's just like, and then Steve's just like, hey, show some respect. And then he's just like, just play the movie already. This shit's fucking boring. And it's just like, hey, you want to shut up? And then that's what makes him get beat up in the alley. And then he's just getting his ass beat. But then he just stands up and he's just like, I could do this all day. And it's just like he just keeps fighting him. So yeah, that scene was just really cool. And I love when Bucky comes in there and he beats him up for him. That was a really cool scene. And I just really love his relationship with Bucky a lot. Steve and Bucky have been friends since day one, and I really love that a lot about them. Let me think. So yeah, and I just really, really love how Steve does not really like getting at girls. Like Bucky loves getting at girls so much. Like he loves like having like two girls next to him and flirting with them and all of that. He loves that. But Steve, like he's just like, okay, I don't care about that. Like I'm not doing any of that. I really need to find the one for me. And I just really love that about him. From that's the only scene that is not relatable to me. That's the only like there's two big things that are not that make me not relate to him, but I can easily relate to his big heart that he has. So yeah. Two things I can't relate to him are that he wants to find the girl that is the one. I'm a little like Bucky on that side. I just really like getting at girls and all of that. So yeah, but not in a creepy way though. But yeah, and yeah, I'm like Bucky. Like Bucky doesn't do it in a creepy way. Like I'm a lot like that. And then and then another thing that makes him not relatable to me is a really big thing. He gets really strong and he gets really strong and he can really fight, and I can't fight at all. Like I'm like him when I'm fighting people and all of that, like getting my ass kicked and all of that. But like I'm not big or any of that. But I do wish I do end up like that. If I do end up big and strong over the next years or so, I'll probably be a lot like Captain America maybe. So yeah. And I've been thinking of joining the military actually. Like I've actually been like having a little bit of thoughts of joining the military, mostly because just like I hear when you join the military, you can like kill people with your bare hands. Like you can easily like you really know how to fight and you can kill people with your bare hands. And I want to do that just to defend myself easily. I don't want to kill people or anything like that. I just want to do it just to defend myself and just to like beat people up like badly. So yeah, and most of that has to do because I'm really inspired by Cliff Booth and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because he does that and he was a war hero. He was in the military. So yeah, and I really want to be a stuntman too. So yeah. But we're not talking about the movie. I just wanted to quickly say that I really want to join the military as much as he does. So as much as Steve does. So yeah. So yeah, but like yeah. So yeah, just Steve was just a really cool character in this movie. Just very relatable to me. Just really had a really big heart. I just really loved how good he was in this movie. He even made me cry. Like the scene where him and Peggy were talking in the scene where him and Peggy were talking in the car. That scene actually made me cry because I actually from that scene you see how good Steve is, and I just really really love how good Steve is in this movie. He's just a really really good guy. So yeah. Is there anything else I should say about Steve? So yeah, all the scenes with him in action as Captain America are fucking cool. Like they're all amazing. But my one major flaw with him is that from right away you see that he has training with the shield. Like he can like throw people. He throws it at people and then he gets it back, and you don't really see that he did much of training in that scene. So yeah, but that was a major flaw I actually had with the movie and his character. No, it wasn't a major flaw actually. It was just a minor flaw actually. Just a minor flaw, but it was a major flaw to the movie though. So yeah. So yeah, but I just really like him in this movie, just like him like with his shield and all that, just him fighting all the Nazis was just really cool, and I really love that scene where he does the play, like where he does the play with the Star Spangled Man song. That scene was just really, really satisfying, just really entertaining, and I really like that song a lot. Is there anything else I should say about Steve? So yeah, and I just really love when he gets his power. Like he's just trying to get used to it. He's surprisingly getting used to it and all that. He even sees like, holy shit, I'm actually getting used to this. So yeah, and I just really like that a lot about him. So I just really like how he gets used to it fast. So yeah, and I just yeah. So once again, I love how good he is. Is there anything else I should say about this movie? I just another thing I like about him, I just really like the scene where he's fighting Red Skull too. Those scenes are really cool too. Is there anything else I should say? And yeah, he does get really funny at times too. Like Steve does get really funny at times. He does have a couple comic reliefs here and there. He's mostly serious, but he does get pretty funny at times, and all those scenes really work for me. So yeah. I think that's all about Steve. So yeah, Steve was a really cool character, my favorite character in this entire movie, and he's actually my favorite Avenger. Actually, I want to quickly say that he is my favorite Avenger. That is why I only have a shirt for him. I do not have a shirt for any of the other Avengers. I used to have a shirt for Iron Man, but that doesn't fit me anymore. So yeah. But like I just really love Captain America just so much. So yeah, he's my favorite Avenger actually. Yeah, and he gets even better with the sequels and all the other Avengers movies, such as the next one. So yeah, but I'll talk about those movies. But just here was just a perfect introduction to him, I would say, to the character, but not like as a movie, not a perfect movie, but as the character of Steve Rogers, it was perfect. So yeah. But I still really love this movie. I'm not saying it's not a perfect movie, but it's still a really, really good movie. And then we get to Peggy Carter. I really liked Peggy Carter a lot in this movie. She was a really cool character too. She was a really tough sergeant. She knew how to shoot people. Like she had really good aim, and I really liked that a lot about her. And I really really love all the scenes with her and Steve talking. They really give off some really really strong chemistry in there. And their relationship in this movie really brought so much emotion to this movie. And I just really love their relationship a lot in this movie. Yeah, so I just really love how like from the second act of the movie they start falling in love, but like yeah, but they don't even kiss to like the end. But like you can just see like they're slowly like loving each other and all of that. So yeah, and I just really love that a lot about this movie. So yeah, she was just a really cool sergeant. She was just a really cool. She was really smart too, like with all the scenes with them and doing World War II and all of that. And I just really loved how she really believed in Steve too. Like she really believed that Steve could do all these stuff and all this stuff and all that. Even when he was short and skinny, she still believed he could do this stuff. And I just really love that about her. Is there anything else about Peggy I should say? So yeah, just their relationship was just really strong. She was just such a badass in this movie too. Like she was so awesome in this movie. Just so yeah, just she was just so awesome. She had some really cool line delivery. Same with Captain America. He was a badass too and had a lot of cool line delivery. So yeah, and this movie definitely did have some cool line delivery. Not as good line delivery as the original X-Men trilogy, but still some pretty good line delivery. Is there anything else I should say about Peggy? So yeah, just all the single turn action were just really cool. So yeah, she was just very wise. So yeah, Peggy was just a really cool character. And then we get to the villain to this movie, Red Skull. Excuse me, I choked on my spit. The villain, Red Skull, he wasn't in all that villain to me. Like this is where I get to my main flaw with this movie. My major flaw with this movie is the villain. I do not like the villain to this movie that much. He's just very. I don't really like him that much. Like all he does is just worship a cube. Like that's literally his whole character to this movie, worshiping a cube and killing people. That's all his character to this movie. That's literally what he does. And like he just. Yeah, that's just all he does. Just kill people and just this really big bad guy. Like, ha ha ha! I'm the bad guy. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna start this war. We're gonna kill people. That's basically his whole character throughout this whole movie. He's not over the top at all. He's not over the top at all. He was just not a menacing villain. He wasn't over the top, which was a really big positive. So yeah, but like he was an okay villain to me. Like he wasn't compelling at all, but like all he was just worshiping a cube. So yeah. But like it gets introduced later on to what the cube is in the next event in the first Avengers movie, which will be the next movie we review today. So yeah. Is there anything else I should say about him? So yeah, he was just an okay villain in this movie, but I did like all the scenes with him using the Tesseract, and I really liked the makeup work they used for the Red Skull. That was some really cool makeup work actually. And I really liked how like he used the shot, but like he wanted to do something, but like it didn't really work for him. Like he thought that shot would make him stronger, but it changed his appearance too. So yeah, but it did make him stronger though. So yeah, I really like that subplot. I really like the guns they would use to like vanish people and all that. That they actually use some really cool effects with that. But just him as a character just didn't really hold up for me. But he definitely did have a little bit of cool line delivery, just a little bit, just like 3 or 4 scenes of cool line delivery. So yeah, but he was just a very like not good villain. So yeah. And then we got to Colonel Phillips, I think that was his name. He was a pretty cool character too. He was played by Tommy Lee Jones. I really liked how at first he did not believe in Steve all that much, but then once Steve went and okay, I forgot to mention, I'm already 24 minutes into this video, and I forgot to mention this review will contain spoilers, so leave the review. So yeah, but from here I'll get to some spoilers. And I just really liked how like Sergeant Phillips like didn't believe in him, but like as soon as like Steve rescued the 107th group of people or something like that, they called it something like that with the 107 people, like they call it the 107 I think. But yeah, and Bucky was a part of them, like he was a part of them, and like from in that during that scene, it was Red Skull like kidnapped them and like he kept them hostage like in like these cells and all of that. But then Steve rescued all of them, like literally all the 107 from Red Skull's place, and like they come back, and none of them is like that much, and none of them died, and like they're all wounded, but they're all alive and all of that. And from there, Colonel Phillips believes him, and so yeah, and I really like that scene where he believes in him and all that. So yeah, and I just really love how from the second act, from starting the end of the second act of the movie, he started believing in him, and I really loved how he helped him out in the end battle too. So yeah, and he was just a really cool character too. He was very wise. He was very not very smart. He was pretty wise. He wasn't so smart though, but he was just pretty wise. And I love that scene where he was talking to Arnim Zola in the in the prison cell. So yeah, so yeah, he was just a really cool character. I really liked him. And then we get to Bucky. I really liked Bucky in this movie a lot too. This was a pretty cool introduction to Bucky actually. Bucky was really cool. I know a lot of people don't seem to like Bucky in the series, but I personally love Bucky. Like I love Bucky in this movie and in the whole series. So yeah, I love Bucky a lot. He's actually one of my favorite Avengers actually. So yeah, despite for what he did in Civil War, but that wasn't his fault actually. But we're not talking about that movie. I'll get to that once I talk about Civil War. So yeah, but Bucky, I just really love Bucky to this movie. He was a really good guy. I just really loved how in the beginning he doubted him, but like I just really loved how he missed out a lot when he was like fighting in the war, and then like when Steve rescued him, he was just like he was just like Steve was just like I thought you were dead, and he was just like I thought you were smaller. Yeah, that scene was pretty funny, and then I just love from there like he starts believing in him now, and he just like is like gets used to how big he is and all of that. So yeah, and I just really love that scene so much. Is there anything else I should say? So yeah, and I just really love how like him like them two are together like leaving that place. So yeah, and that shows like a big part of their friendship. So yeah, just Bucky was a really cool character, and I just really loved in the beginning. He was just getting at a lot of girls. So yeah. Is there anything else? So yeah, I just really love how like Bucky's just like really cool person, and like he's just like this playboy dude and all that. Not as much as Tony Stark, but he's sort of like that. So yeah, and I just really liked Bucky a lot. So yeah, and I just really liked his introduction a lot, and I just love all the scenes where him and Steve are like teamed together, and they're like fighting all these people together and shooting them. And yeah, I thought those scenes were really cool. So yeah. Let me think. Is there anything else I should say? I also really liked Howard Stark in this movie. He was a pretty cool character too. Howard Stark is a young person in this movie. He's in his early 30s, and like he's rich, and he can like make like powerful things, and like and when he gets introduced, like he's making like a flying car, but like it flies for a little bit, but then like a part breaks, and then like it falls. So yeah. But like yeah, and I just really like how like this was Howard Stark. Like he was really good with designing weapons and designing like a lot of other stuff too. Like he was really good with designing and all that, and really good with technology, and you can just really tell this is Tony's dad. So yeah, and he even looks a lot like Tony too. So yeah, and I just really like how I just really like him a lot in this movie. And I just really love all the scenes where like he's with the military, like he works with the military too a lot in the movie, and I really like that a lot about him. And I really love how he was the one to make the shield. He was the one that made Captain America's shield. Like they were going through a bunch of stuff, and he was just like, okay, pick your weapon you want to choose, and he sees the shield. It doesn't have the symbol on it. It's just all silver, and he's just like, okay, well, that's just the shield. It's made out of the strongest metal all over Earth, vibranium. And then like Peggy shoots at the shield, and then like he blocks it, and then like Howard's just like scared right there. So yeah, I really like that scene. And she's just like, yep, it works. So yeah, I really like that scene. So yeah, and I just really like how he was the one to give Cap the shield. So yeah. Is there anything else I should say about Howard Stark? So yeah, he was just a pretty wise character too, and I just really liked how he was just rich and famous. Like he wasn't a playboy like Tony was, but he was a little bit like that at times. So yeah, I really liked that a lot about him. So yeah, and I just all the scenes with him working with the military were just really cool too. So yeah, Howard Stark was a pretty cool character, and I really liked Howard's. I didn't like this. He was an okay character too. He wasn't a really cool character. He was an okay character. I think his name was Arnim Zola. I think that was his name. Red Skull's like personal assistant. Like he was his really good assistant. Like he would like make all the stuff for him. Like he would make all the weaponry for him. He would make all the weaponry for him and give it to him. And like give it to all the Hydra people too. Like, oh yeah, I forgot to mention that Hydra is a huge role to this movie. Hydra is what Red Skull's people are called, and they're what is gonna make the World War II really dangerous. And Hydra is just like the second most evil people right next to the Nazis. So yeah, but they're more stronger than the Nazis though. So yeah. But yeah, and he's basically the leader of the people, the army people. But Red Skull is like the leader of it all. So yeah, that was a pretty cool thing for Red Skull too. But like, I just really like how Arnim Zola was just like the one to make the things, and like he was the one to like guard the guards and all of that. And yeah, and I just really like how at times he was scared too. Like he was scared of a couple things. That was really funny. So yeah, he was an okay character. He wasn't compelling. He was okay. So yeah, and I really liked Erskine in the beginning of the movie. I really liked how he believed in him, and I really liked how he died in the beginning, but he was just like, Steve, get him, and all that. So yeah, Erskine was a pretty cool character too. I really liked how he believed in him. That was how he was the first person to believe him. Yeah, so that was a really cool thing. And then we get to Dum Dum Dogan. I think that was his name. He was just a pretty strong person in the 107. He was a really cool character too. I really liked him. So yeah. I really like the scenery to this movie too. The scenery was really cool. I thought they developed 1940 really well in this movie. Like USA in the 1940. I thought they developed that really well, and I really thought they developed World War II really well in this movie too. So yeah, the scenery was really cool into this movie. They really got you into World War II and back to 1945. So yeah, and that was just really cool. So yeah, I definitely thought the 1945 World War II setting was definitely necessary for a first Captain America movie. So yeah. And all the actors, they all did a really good job. Like, they all did a really good job in this movie. And Joe Johnston, this dude can direct movies, actually. He directed the first Jumanji. He also directed a bunch of other movies, too. And here, he definitely had a huge heart with making this movie. And he definitely did a really good job with this movie. So yeah, and then the soundtrack. I really like the soundtrack to this movie a lot. This movie did not give us a perfect Captain America soundtrack, but it was still a pretty good soundtrack actually. It was just like this like big army soundtrack, like respecting the USA and all of that and the American flag. It was sort of like a similar like soundtrack to that, but it was still a pretty good soundtrack. And I really liked the Star Spangled Man song. Yeah. Let me think. The pacing was pretty good, actually. I thought this movie was timed really well. And I thought this movie actually did go by pretty fast, actually. Like, this movie was 2 hours, and I thought it went by pretty fast, actually. So, yeah. But I did think it did get a bit slow, like, towards the middle of the second act. So, yeah. But, that was just my, just a minor nitpick I had with it. So, yeah. But yeah, just the pacing was pretty good, and all the action sequences were beautifully done. I loved all the action sequences in this movie. They were all done beautifully done. They were all awesome. Like, all the action was just beautifully done. So yeah, just the effects, they all looked really, really real. So yeah. And I really liked the way this movie ended too. I really liked the end battle a lot when like Red Skull and Captain America were fighting in the ship, and like I really liked when like he was before he fought Red Skull, like he was fighting the people in the ship, and like they got the atomic bomb, but then he was just trying to like take him out of there, and then like he actually does, and then like he controls the atomic bomb again, and then goes back in the ship. Yeah, that scene was just really cool, and I just really loved the fight between him and Red Skull. So yeah. And I really like when like Red Skull picks up the cube, Cap throws the shield to where the cube was standing, just like, what have you done? He picks up the Tesseract, and then he just vanishes. Like, you think he dies, but he actually returns again later on in the series. So yeah. But yeah, that was a really cool ending, and I really loved when Captain had to like sacrifice himself. Like he couldn't control the ship. Like he had to like crash it. Like he was afraid that he wasn't gonna make it out, but he was still willing to sacrifice himself. He sacrificed himself even